Hello everyone, my name is Meridian and welcome to my channel. I post DIY, alt fashion, and cosplay videos with little blips about life and mental health. In this cosplay makeup video, I'll be walking through my Arcane Jinx inspired look. I prepped my skin off camera with a toner and moisturizer that I have. You can use what you normally have for your own skincare routine, and I'll leave the products that I use in the description below for reference. For my base, I'm starting with a blurring primer in my T-zone. I have really large pores on my nose and surrounding areas that I want to minimize for cosplay looks. After trying out this product, I learned I would actually want to prime with a pore filler specific product in the future and see how it turns out. Since I'm finally starting to experiment with different base products to actually have a proper foundation routine, I'm looking for recommendations. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. After the primer, I'm using NYX Cosmetics Can't Stop Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation. If you've seen my first makeup video, you know that I've been using concealer for my entire face foundation and wanted to fix that. I decided to stick with NYX since they're more affordable than Sephora brands, and my go-to concealer is also NYX, so I'm familiar with their products. I didn't realize that the foundations and concealers from the same line would have matching shade names, so I feel big dumb about how obvious a shade choice it would be to get the foundation in the same shade I prefer my concealer. So this purchase wasn't too difficult to at least get me started on using actual foundation product. For the concealer, I'm only focusing on the creases by my nose, again to help minimize the pores there. I skipped the concealer under my eyes since the Arcane art style accentuates dark under eyes and strong contouring. For contour, I shade my cheekbones as I normally like to, which is under the bone to just on top, almost to the actual apples on my cheeks. It's slightly higher than most would put it. My jawline, chin, and blending down the neck contour placement is pretty standard, I believe. For the nose contour, I'm going heavier than normal for my Jinx cosplay, extending the product further along my brow bone than normal. I contour my nose sides, bottom, creases, and bridge of my nose as I normally like to. Then I contour under the aegis-cell to kind of emphasize the dark under eye. I skipped the blush for this look since a healthy glow isn't a luxury afforded to the population of Swan. Choosing the coolest shade for highlight, I apply the product to my nose bridge, nose tip, cupid's bow, chin, and apples as I normally like to. The key placement for Jinx's highlight would be the space between the inner corners of the eyes meeting up to the nose and brow bone contour. For the brow, I'm using a dark gray shadow instead of a brown to go with the cool tone highlight I chose, but you can go with a dark brown if you'd like a warmer toned look instead. To prepare for the eyeshadow step, I prime my eyelids and under eye. The version of Jinx I chose to cosplay is her Season 2 finale look, which shows her covered in all her various color neon paints. However, her makeup look is not much different than normal, with the main difference being the magenta battle paint under her eyes. When I first wore this cosplay for Anime Impulse, I didn't have a lot of time to do a complex makeup look, and mainly stuck to a dark shadow around the eyes and a pretty standard length false lash. But I don't really like the way standard length false lashes look on me, though I do think it's because I don't know how to apply them properly. But my preferred oversized lashes would overpower Jinx's go-to makeup look, in my opinion. So I struggled for a bit when approaching the makeup for my Jinx cosplay. I really loved the colorful makeup look for Timebomb powder, and took inspiration from her eye makeup for my Jinx cosplay. Nowadays, I don't really go for screen accuracy when I approach cosplay, and I like to be a lot more interpretive. I view cosplay as a medium for my own self-expression, and so my love for color really gravitated towards this makeup look. I felt the multicolored eyeshadow complemented the mash of paints we see on Jinx during the finale, and color this bold would be able to handle the intensity of the oversized false lashes that I feel most comfortable in. As I practice makeup more, I hope to be able to blend the shades in a multicolor look like this better in the future. But here's how it's looking so far. After seeing the intensity of the eyeshadow look, I decided to deepen the contour under my lip and on my nose to brow bone. I also brightened the highlight on my inner corners for a higher contrast. For my lash line, I'm using a black glitter shadow. I apply it to the entire top lid and the outer half of my lower lid. I sharpen the outer wing with a black liquid liner. I tend not to use liquid liner along my entire lash line since my lashes cover this area anyways, and I do tend to mess up drawing along my lash line with liquid pen. Applying my go-to oversized false lashes gets me really excited, as this is when I feel like the makeup look really starts to come together. I quickly set my existing makeup with a dewy finish setting spray and proceed to the final touches. On the bottom outer corner of my eyes, I like to add a final bottom lash in liquid liner. I used to put a third fake lash down there, but it actually irritates my eyes a lot when I blink, so I don't do that anymore. For the freckles, I'm using a brown mascara and dotting the product across my nose bridge. For the lips, I'm going for a dark purple, more like Jinx's season finale look, instead of Timebomb powder. I would go for more of a magenta, but I didn't really have the right shade and I'm not quite comfortable mixing lip products yet. I might try it for a future attempt. What I did forget to do during this video is apply some of the lip product under my eyes to match the battle paint, as I did want this display of color for my cosplay. But I'll have to remember to do that for a future convention for sure. While preparing to put on my Jinx wig, I forgot that I also needed to contour my forehead. Since I usually have bangs, I skipped that step. I had a lot of fun pulling inspiration from different versions of Jinx for this makeup look, and absolutely love that I can combine that inspiration with key staples in my routine that help me feel comfortable and confident in my cosplay. And this is my Arcane Jinx inspired makeup look complete. If you cosplay, do you like to be more screen accurate or more interpretive? Let me know in the comments. For my upcoming videos, I'll be posting other aspects of working on my Jinx cosplay. If that's of interest to you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss them. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye!